Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, and I'm at my home hive here, and I'm just going to do a quick inspection today to add some resources. So I dismantled my Costanza hive and ended up with a whole box of resources here. I gave some honey to another hive, a split hive that needed it, and now I've got about 3 or 4 frames of nectar here and a few frames of drawn out comb that this hive needs. So this hive has been doing awesome. The queen is laying right to the end. And I want to kind of and the reason why she's doing that is because she doesn't have that much drawn out comb there. So I want to give her lots more comb to be able to lay in, and I want to give her honey on the outsides to basically start preparing her for these cooler winter nights. It is 13 September, so I think she's got at least 2 more full laying, hatching out cycles before she stops in like mid to late October. So that's what we're going to try and do. We're just going to exchange resources, make sure the hive is organized nicely. You can see how busy they are. They're just doing great here. Had a few days of bad weather here, so this is the first in maybe 4 days that the weather's nice. Acorns are falling off the trees like crazy. Look at all the acorns down here. We'll probably get nailed by a couple while we're tending to the bees, but they're happy, they're doing great, and hopefully we're going to make their life a little simpler with some more resources. So thanks for joining me on 4D Honeybee. So for the purposes of this inspection, I'm going to start in the bottom brood box, and I'm going to look at those resources first because it was down there that I guess I was a little concerned that the queen was laying right on the end frame. So that's because she just is still drawing out a ton of comb, and that's the only frame she had to work with at that time. So just going to check the bottom first, then we'll work our way to the top and just make sure they got lots of room and well-designed resources. The squirrels are just going nuts because the acorns are just doing nuts, and everything is just in full bloom here. It's been a tremendous summer, and it's starting off to be, we're heading into a fall in decent shape. The weather has been fantastic. Not just for bees, but for agriculture in general. You can see there's a lot of bees up there. Look at that. It's a great sign. These bees started off being darker than all my other bees, and now they seem to be pretty light. So, make of it what you will. Well, they're definitely up in that top box. And they're building comb, that's for sure. Look for the queen on here, just in case. No sign of her. It's funny with this hive, because I'm up against the fence here, it's a little trickier to work around it. All my other hives are worked from behind. This is working off the side, so. Anyway, I'm going to get into that bottom box first because that's where the most important resources have to be, because, again, I'm not convinced that this will make it through winter with 2 hive boxes. I might just consolidate it down to a single box. It just depends on how the hive does for numbers of bees and resources in the next, 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see. So looking at the top, there's maybe 4 frames that are drawn out. So we'll get to those second. They are drawn out nicely, and this, like I say, is the most important box. So look for the queen, smoke them down a little bit. So this outside frame here was brood, and so it's probably hatched out now, so it should be good for me to maybe move this frame and put a honey frame on the outside. Ideally, I'd like for this hive to have 2 full honey frames on each side of each box. So 4 frames per box heading into winter. That gives it between, conservatively 40 to 50 pounds per box of honey. What a beautiful frame. Look at this. This has hatched out. What are we looking at here? brood on this side. See it there? They're just starting to emerge. It's pretty neat. So what have we got on this side? Looking for eggs or larvae on this side. Let's see. Okay, so we're just going to pull this frame out for now. Because it has brood on one side, I don't necessarily want to move it around too much or too far. Okay. Look at the action in this hive; it's incredible. Okay, let's see what we got. Again, just trying to get a judgment on how her resources are. Heading into winter, right? I'm not ready to feed this hive because I want this hive to make more bees. That's its priority right now. So here's a beautiful brood frame. Look at that. Just wall-to-wall brood on this side. On the other side, again, mostly brood with larvae and eggs on the outside. You see, there's bees with such darkest orange pollen. Our fall honey here is really dark, much darker than spring. So again, this is a frame I don't want to mess with. I'll look for the queen and get it back in. I don't want to jinx it, but these bees are so well behaved. I'm noticing, like, now we're starting to get into the robbing season, right? So I'm sensitive to that because last year I really hadn't experienced it until about this time, or maybe heading into October when I started feeding. And robbing was a big issue. I just saw a yellow jacket sneak its way in there. So we want to watch that. Okay, this is a frame that is empty. Be a good laying frame, so the queen could be on here. Another empty frame. So it's a good empty frame. I'm not going to mess with that one there. This one feels really light. And it is. It's got some larvae. Let's see. There's some eggs. That's got eggs too. It's a frame that the queen was recently on, or is on right now. Let's have a look for her. This side again is just being cap drone, or cap brood. Lots of yellow jackets out today. This area has a lot of yellow jackets in general. We can't have a meal out here or a picnic without getting yellow jacket invasions. Wow, and I watched the yellow jacket land on there and it's just being annihilated. Hopefully I can give you a little close-up here. Look at this battle going on right there. You see it? That yellow jacket. It's not going to have a good day. Now the bad thing is that will kind of get the alarm pheromones going, and that might make my inspection more difficult. But it's funny, I've been commenting about the yellow jackets, and there is one just getting riled up by these bees. So, and you can see there's a lot of bees in this hive. It is one healthy, beautiful hive. Trying just to smoke it enough to get them down off the top so I can reach without squishing. That is a challenge. There's a lot of bees here. Okay, here's another frame with brood. It is emerging. It's a bee dancing going on. It's kind of neat to see. Another beautiful brood frame. So she is laying everywhere she can. No doubt. This queen is doing great. So what I may do is depending on what the second box is like, the second box is just the middle frames are drawn out. So what I'll probably do is bring up a brood frame or two if they aren't already up there, and get her laying in that second brood box. And maybe what I'll do is I'll put the honey frames that I have in that second brood box and let her manage them for the next couple of weeks. Here's another brood frame. You can see it here. And your side is brood as well. There's a big drone looking for the queen. I'd be lying if I was saying I'm not looking for her. I mean, it's not critical for me to see her. I know she's in here and I know she's doing a great job. And I do need practice at it, but I don't really want to make this a practice hive. I don't want to do anything to upset this hive or otherwise mistreat it. I got lots of hives to choose from and lots of time to practice, probably in the spring. Okay, now this frame, it's only partially drawn out and just jam-packed with brood. Look at it. Same on this side. Just barely drawing it out, and as soon as she can get a semblance of a cell, she lays in it. So I may leave this one out and move it to the top because it's only partially drawn out. Okay, let's set this one aside here. And I'll put in a nice empty frame that is drawn out. Here we go. Look at this one. All right, so put that in there. And keep going. 3 more frames left on this side. Oh, this is heavy. Wow, this is heavy with honey. On this side, on that side. Yeah, lots of honey. So the next frame is kind of pretty empty. So I'll probably pull that next frame and yellow jackets. Probably pull that next frame and maybe replace it with a nice drawn out frame for them. Yeah, so this one's barely drawn out. You see they've already filled it full of honey. So now have a good look at this one, make sure the queen's not on here, and replace it with a nice drawn out frame. The last frame is honey, so that's great. I'm going to leave that one just as it is. Okay, what do I want to do here? I'm going to put 2, 4, 6, 8. So I need 2 frames there. So I'm going to put 1 honey. Let's go this one. And 1 drawn out frame like this one. This next one's better. So in she goes. So that's the bottom brood box complete. Now we'll bring the second box up and have a look at it. And put in some more drawn out frames there. I've got some honey, see what they're doing, maybe bring up a couple brood frames. We're laughing. Okay, so we'll get the empty frames out first. You can see here what we've got. I'll bring it close for this view. See, we've got maybe 1, 2, 3 frames that are being worked on, that are occupying these, right? So I brought 2 frames up, 2 frames that were brood frames, checkerboarded them, and they've built out the frame in between it. So I might do a little more checkerboarding because now I've got a couple of honey frames, but I'll put the honey frames at the end. But I've got some more drawn out frames, and I have still 2 of their slightly drawn out frames to put up here as well. So by the time we're finished, they'll go from 3 frames drawn out, possibly with brood, to at least 5 or 6 frames drawn out, but then checkerboarded with good drawn out frames that they can really work with fast. So just do need to look for the queen on these frames. I'm just going to knock them. I guess I should knock them back into the hive. Next frame. Okay, so they're drawing this one out. Well, they've already put brood in it. And again, you can see they're drawing them out, and she's laying faster than they're drawing them out. She's laying in frames that are not completely drawn out. So that tells me that she wants to lay. So priority for this hive right now is drawn out comb frames. Although I'm going to put a honey frame at the end here so that they've got resources to feed on and build on. See, this is all nectar. Hopefully they'll be able to cap that off pretty quickly. Make this the number 2 frame, and then the next frame, let's see what we got here. Get out the way, guys, get out the way. Thank you. Wow, heavy frame with honey and brood. Look at it, it's beautiful. Hatching out from the inside. Lovely frame. Same with this side. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put another one of their brood frames from down below right beside it. This one has brood on one side, is drawn out on the other side, but still has lots of room to lay. See, on this side, lots of room. So I'm going to put that in next. It's pretty neat, you know, this hive is so good to me. They're so well natured that I don't even contemplate wearing the gloves. And you can actually put your finger on bees, just give you a little buzz and let you know that they're there. So really well natured hive. I just want to smoke them down a little bit because that's the spot where I need to pull out their frame. Come on, get out the way. Get out the way. Hey, get out the way. Get out the way. Come on. Okay, another partially drawn out but fully laid brood frame. Amazing. Same with the next one. Has a really flowery smell to this hive. Okay. So, let's do this. I've got 2 more brood frames to put in. I should probably be putting them in now. Or maybe another drawn out frame there. Yeah, here's a drawn out frame that actually has some honey in it. So I'll make this one probably the second to last one. Let's see what this one is. Okay, I got my last 2 frames here. So I'm going to pull out. I still got 2 frames there. So I only got 3 frames to deal with. So I'll put in a honey frame at the end. Don't worry about following my math. If I can't follow it, you can't follow it. Okay. There's a nectar frame at the end here. So there you go. So the box is a little better organized there. It's got a lot more resources and a lot more room for her to lay. And as you can see, she's just going nuts. I wouldn't say it's that light on honey now. It's got 3 honey frames on the bottom and about 3 in the top too. So she's doing all right. If she keeps laying, she'll be on pace to be in good shape for the winter. So that's what we care about. Now we'll put her back together. As you can see, there's a lot of bees. They still have a ton of foraging left today. So I'm going to smoke them down a bit so I can put this lid on and keep down the mortality as much as possible. And that's it. Another step towards wintering these bees. Again, priority for now is having her make more bees. Then the next priority will be a mite count and possible treatments, very likely treatments, because usually mites are a problem around here. And then feeding / winter. And that's it. Thanks for joining me at 40 Honeybee.